Are you a business owner looking to secure your financial future and create a lasting legacy? I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional, and I specialize in guiding businesses with up to 50 employees on how to effectively protect and transfer their wealth. We break down silos with my unique approach, the Wall of Wealth. Imagine a seamless collaboration among your CPA, tax attorney, estate planner, and insurance expert, each playing their part in perfect harmony, ensuring your financial strategy is not just effective, but a true masterpiece. My passion stems from my own journey, from growing up on food stamps to dreaming of building community centers that empower others. Together, we'll craft a roadmap that not only safeguards your assets, but also nurtures generational wealth for your loved ones. Let's transform your vision into reality. After all, you can't measure the heart of a champion just by looking at them. Join me, and let's make your financial future shine.
And we are live. Welcome to this episode of Wealthy Wednesday. Today is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be copious note-taking time, but even more than that, this is going to be a live Q&A. This is going to be an opportunity for you to ask your questions live, and I promise you, you are going to want to ask some questions live. Well, come on in, grab your cup of tea, grab your macchiato, grab your coffee. I don't know what you're drinking. I've got my green tea here this morning. And today is going to be incredible. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn, which is my favorite spot, I got to tell you. So wherever you're joining us, let us know if you're tuning in live. And we love you also if you're coming in to us on Team Replay. You know, one of the reasons I do this show every week is because I want to bring you value. I want to bring you as an entrepreneur, a business owner. I want to introduce new ideas to you, new concepts to you. I want to showcase people that I believe can really pour into you and give you value. Well, today is absolutely no exception. It is going to be something that no matter where you are in your business, you're going to pick up something. You're going to pick up a golden nugget. I promise you that you can put in your pocket and walk away with today. You can implement today, because we're going to talk about some things that have to do with your business. And my guest speaker that I have, I'm super excited because I've been trying to get her on my show for a while. Now, let me remind all of you, even if you're on the Team Replay, who we love you, Team Replay, but I do this show live without edits, unedited. I come to you raw and real. You know, there's no rainbows and puppy dogs here, right? I give you the real deal. A couple of reasons behind that. And one is because I want the interaction from all of you. Like, I see you, Miss Rosie. Great to see you, champion. I want to see your live interactions. I want you to get to know me. I mean, any of us could look great if we kind of snip and cut and put the highlight reels, but I want to see you. I want you to see me raw and who I really am. And I want to get to know all of you. The other part is that if we do this live, then you can ask those questions, that you can engage. And that's really what gives me the energy. It really does. I get excited when I see people here, when I can showcase you, when I can shout you out. And that's why I like to know who you are. So this is an opportunity, not just for you to learn, but it's also your opportunity to share what you do as an entrepreneur, share what you do as a business owner. This is a time for you to network and connect with each other. So if you have a free ebook coming out, you've got an event, you just launched your podcast, you have something great going on, put it in the comments, because I promise you, someone is looking for you and what you do. Now, my guest speaker today, I'm telling you, she is really famous on LinkedIn. So if you're not on LinkedIn, come on over to the LinkedIn community over here. But Christina is a business and life coach who helps entrepreneurs and professionals learn, turn their expertise into thriving online brands, blending years of experience in sales and e-commerce and LinkedIn strategy, and shows business owners how to simplify, sell smarter, and create a digital presence. This is key, a digital presence that actually converts. A lot of us have a digital presence, but how many of us are converting into actual sales? Um, she's also the author of Claim Your Space book series. Christina empowers people and business owners to actually build a business that reflects their story, their strengths, and their vision without a heavy overhead of stock, office space, or complicated tech. Through her coaching and her books and her live trainings, Christina has become a trusted guide for those who are ready to bring their traditional business online, scale, and influence, and design a business that creates both profit and purpose. I love that. And also, I love this because she also embraces one of my favorite F words, which is free. What we're going to be talking about today are going to be a lot of things that are free. Yes, you heard it. Because a lot of times when we're starting a business, we think that we have to invest all this money and do all of these things. But what if we don't have the resources? Maybe you right now are thinking about starting an online or side hustle. Maybe the job market's getting you a little shaky inside and you have something that you've been wanting to bring to the surface, but you feel like you just don't have the financial resources. Well, today is for you. We're going to talk about no stock, no office, no website, no problem. The blueprint for bringing your business online to a lean and profitable business. So please give it up for my incredible guest speaker, and check out her name. I love her name, Miss Christina Sargato. And here you are. There you are, my darling. And check out her logo. Isn't she incredible? I adore everything that you do, Miss Christina. So take it away, my love.
Well, thank you, Leah. Well, that was quite an introduction. I'm blushing still. So,
It's all true.
and,
It's
well,
all
we're
true.
here. Yeah, well, thank you. So we're here to talk about, whoever is in the audience, really. So we're not really here to talk about us. We are here to talk about who's listening. So if
Absolutely.
you're listening and you have been, there is something that you cannot stop thinking about, right? Uh, a business idea or a passion, or there is something that your friends and family say, okay, yeah, you told me the story so quite a few times now. I know you have this idea, right? Do it already. Well, so today it's your call to take action and make it visible. So that's what we're talking about here today. I was just on a call with a client a couple of days ago who told me, still waiting for my website. And actually, I was just on a call with another client a couple of days ago who told me, I think I need my logo and my website first. And then again, I keep hearing this story over and over and over again. In the meantime, they're not doing the most important thing of business strategy, which is announcing, collecting raving fans. And what kills me is that I see a lot of people that they are building audiences here on LinkedIn because they come to events, they're in conversations, making friends. But even if their follower base is growing, they're not utilizing it, meaning they haven't told anybody what they're working on. They're just the listener, the person in the audience. I mean, it's not just. Perhaps is looking for some looking for courage from attending some events, right? Or just seeing how other people are doing it. But this is it's a huge opportunity, to beginning to having those conversations, to put in a profile. I'm working on something. Right? You don't have, just because you tell other people that you're working on something and you kind of give a preview of what you're working on, it doesn't mean somebody's going to come and steal your idea. There is also that fear that goes around, right? And also somebody can get an idea or two from you, right? And they can run with it, but it's really never going to look the way that it would look when you do it. So if that was the case, I wouldn't be sharing anything here on LinkedIn because I would think everybody's going to steal my ideas. And the same with you, Leah. You wouldn't be sharing anything on LinkedIn because otherwise there's going to be so many Leahs around, right? So we have to speak up. We have to the first the first thing to start your business is, take a stand and say, I'm working on something, right? This is what I'm working on. This is why I'm working on it. I'm building, really build publicly. And building publicly is going to make your storytelling, the one that you're going to pay somebody, I need my storytelling for my website and all this kind of stuff. No, you can do that. You can actually build the story as you build.
I love that. That's I got to give you that is so brilliant. I love that. So if somebody's thinking about starting a business and they're building an audience, because I do totally hear what you're saying. I know many people who are building an audience online, but they don't really share what that is in their heart that they want to share. So if you're thinking about it, now's the time to just say, hey, you know what? This is what I'm really working on, and share it publicly. I love bringing people along with the journey. And that's something that I embraced years ago, because I saw a lot of people on social media and they all look so polished and perfect. I just thought there's no way that I can live up to that. So somebody told me something and they said, you know what? Just do you. Become one of one. Other people might sell the products and services I do, but they're not going to do it the way that I do it. And that's the same thing that's true for all of us. So if you have that vision in your heart, now's the time to start speaking it out and bring people along with your journey. I'm telling you, people will resonate with that. I absolutely love that. I want to recognize a few people who've joined us, and then I have a question for you, because I've got a lot of questions for you, but I want to hear your questions too, because I know that you have questions. You have an opportunity to pick Christina's brain. If there's something, a challenge you're facing in your business, you're ready to go that next level, but you're not sure, you don't have the resources, or you're just not sure what is out there, please ask the questions now. So I want to welcome Miss Rosie. Great to see you. I appreciate you. I adore you. And she's really our Gita. I call her the Gita girl. She's a gratitude girl. If you have not followed Miss Sharon, if you're feeling a little unwell, you're having a little bit of a challenge, I promise you, she will inspire you. She takes incredible photos and this incredible, just so eloquent poetry that she shares that is beyond measure. She needs to write many, many books. I'm going to tell you that right now. Also, speaking of books, we have the one and only Miss Nick Agai Galindo. Thank you for joining us. She is the founder of Guiding Brilliant Writers, and she's really so brilliant herself. If you're thinking about writing a book, or you are already an established author, I promise you, she will help you take your writing to the next level. She's incredible. She talks about guiding brilliant writers, but she's really the brilliance behind guiding those brilliant writers. Also, who else? Oh, Miss Lisa. Lisa, great to see you. She is our menopause mentor. I absolutely love watching her, what she shares. It's not just about health and nutrition for women. However, she actually shares incredible wisdom when it comes to our good health. We've got to protect our good health with everything that we can. And she did a credible poll the other day about, what do you drink in the morning? 90% of the time, I drink green tea. The only time I drink coffee is if someone else is drinking coffee. Then I get this coffee. I don't know. It's this weird, like, I have to have it if someone else is drinking it. And Christy, great to see you. She is our customer service professional. She's really somebody that is a cheerleader for all of us. And we want to cheerlead you, Miss Christy. I'm wondering, do you have a dream in your heart that you're thinking about? Because you've built an incredible audience, an incredible following, Miss Christy. Maybe there's something that you have inside you, right, that you've been working on secretly. And then, oh my gosh, we have our Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers in the house. She pours into us. She's actually our, Mind Over Matter Mondays. I always get it confused because I talk about Money Mondays, Motivation Mondays, but she really pours into us when it comes to our thinking, when it comes to upgrading our beliefs. And she also teaches a class on Fridays. I'm going to say she teaches a class. It's an incredible class. It is free, which is one of my favorite F words, on Fridays at 7 a.m. Pacific time. I know that because I'm in the gym at that time. And she talks about, our wealth and our mindset and our mind shift and how to really study the book Think and Grow Rich you might have heard about. Well, you have never studied it the way that she presents it. I promise you, you will learn something. She should charge for those classes because they are so gold. So first question I want to start out with, let's say that person does have something in their heart that they have been wanting to come out. Can they really start a business? And I'm talking about a business that monetizes, something that puts money in their pocket. Can they really start a business without any money? You said no stock, no office, no website, no problem. Is that truly possible?
It is truly possible. And of course, it's case by case, right? It depends on what it is, the thing in the art. But if it is knowledge, experience, know-how, definitely we see it every day here on LinkedIn. People are starting business with that, and with no cost. Some people are starting on their own, and the first step there is say, "This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm teaching." And we talked about free, right? Um, when people start a business, the first time they hear about free, think, "I'm giving it all away," right? And not, you're not giving it all away. You're campaigning. You're letting people know that you exist, right? And I promise you, if you give your best things and your best tips away, right? Uh, the conversation that will actually bring transform themselves into a business deal will come. So when somebody does something for free, a class, what they're doing is they're building trust. So yes, you can start. You can start by yourself. It might take a little longer. That's good, right? Everybody needs to do things at their own pace. But rule number one is start, share, let people know what it is that you know, what it is that you do really well, and what it is that you're working on building. So you can have many events such as this, right, where you're teaching somebody something, where you're talking about your expertise, not necessarily in a bragging form, but actually helping the community, helping somebody, right? It doesn't mean that by listening to you, somebody's going to be able to build something on their own, but they're going to be able to start, right? They're going to be able to take those first steps, and they're not going to feel alone because they're listening to you. So that's how you start. That's how you start. That you make those connections. You show people that you do know your stuff. So LinkedIn, many service providers do exactly that. But if you don't actually tell anybody that this is your repertoire, that this is what you do really well, and show some proof of it, right? Give some tips that actually help somebody move the needle, right? Something that somebody can test is not going to work. So that's the thing. So there is that. Then if you are thinking about a product or packaging a product, of course, if it's a physical product, you're going to need a little bit of inventory, right? So that's not, in this case, the non-stock, it does not apply. But definitely for those things, you do not need an office. You do not need a website because you can use third-party marketplaces. So there is a little expense there, but it's not a huge expense. If you have, say you're a creative, you're an artist, and you have some designs and ideas for images that could go on a product that you want to test, right? You're not going to go and buy the whole supply of stock, but you want to test if these things actually there is an interest. You can also do print on demand. You can have merch, and you can do that for free. Of course, you don't own the merch. You will get a percentage. That's how that works, right? But you're building a business. And many years ago, I built a mini one of my so I tell you about this, my fifth business, right? One of my mini successful businesses, from which I learned a lot. And then I'll tell you the story later. I had to reverse engineer myself so many times. But I had this little thing, this store on a print on demand platform. And I started it because I just come from having another business in another country where I had all the stock that I wanted. I was very lucky. I could find all the most amazing antique books. So my business was flourishing because I lived in England. So I had access to good stuff. So when I came to the United States, forget the access to that amazing stuff. So I was at Starbucks and I started, researching if I could start an online business without inventory. And I came across a couple of print-on-demand platforms. Naturally, it's like, what am I going to do? Am I going to do logos? Am I going to do, am I going to do, images that I don't know how to draw, right? But the light bulb clicked. I use my knowledge. So you can use your knowledge and you can apply it for everything. What was my knowledge? My knowledge was antique books and art. So of course I sourced a bunch of public domain antique images and illustrations from old books. And that became my product line. And before I knew it, it was very successful for somebody that had started 3 months prior with $0. Now I was earning $4,000 and $5,000 a month out of this.
Wow.
So because I poor marketed. So the other secret is I did poor market and sold into that because I had no choice. And so I actually was putting 12 and 13 hours to launch. Creating product, sharing it on social media and all that. And that's, that was the year 2011 when I started that store. So social media was big, but it was not this big, right? So anyhow, you can get your knowledge. So in this case, my knowledge was the know-how as a book dealer and passion that I had for things that I did enjoy. And I couldn't get physical product to sell for people that would pay money for it. So the next best thing that I could do was feast my eyes with those beautiful images, high quality images, and just put it on product, and see what happened. And, from duffel bags to tote bags to pillows and mugs and T-shirts and phone cases, I was able to build something really important for myself that then transferred that on into my e-commerce career.
Yeah, that's incredible to literally go with no money and just using an idea that you already had. You were kind of already in that vein, and then turning it into a business that made $4,000 to $5,000 a month. I mean, how many people could use an extra $4,000 to $5,000 a month, or would even replace their income, right? Where they could fire their boss if they wanted to. And I want to highlight this comment and kind of a question also, Christina, by our very own Queen Dr. Leslie. She says, keep your goal private. She's very big on that. I've learned that from her. We can build an audience without giving away our plans, right? That's kind of her question to you. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what it is. Again, it's a case by case. You can build your audience without giving it all away, right? But it has to be aligned. Otherwise, that audience is not as useful to you as it would be. So if the audience you build is completely unrelated to the final product that you're ready to launch, then you're gonna have to build another audience once you're ready, right? But yes, that's a strategy actually. What Dr. Leslie is describing. If anything that you're doing, it is aligned, and those people that are following you are in the same circle, have the same interests, right? Or that potentially could become your audience and client base, because that if you say for example, I'm discussing art, literature, and books, right? That's what I do on LinkedIn because I just cannot shut up about it. And then I'm building a store that actually has these print-on-demand items with all these images that are related to that. And I'm also sourcing some rare books, for my other store with physical product. And I'm publishing some books on, the know-how about the rarity of some of this stuff and where to source these great images. But I'm not telling anybody. But all I'm doing is talking about this passion. I'm collecting an audience that is all into it. The moment I said, guess what? This is what I've been working on, that audience that I've built is priceless. So yes, as long as it is aligned. And you don't need a dime to start talking and
love
sharing.
that.
But you have to make yourself, you have to build this trust. Building trust doesn't cost anything.
Wow, that is brilliant. Yes, I love that. You don't need a dime to start it out. And also, I love what you're talking about is being aligned. You're collecting an audience. So I think that's when I always say begin with the end in mind. Who are the people you believe that would really resonate with what you do? And I did a mastermind session with one of the agents on my team yesterday. And she's like, you know what? I just don't even know who to talk to. I mean, we've got all these great products. And so I just started doing a mastermind with her. Okay, tell me about your top 3 clients. Tell me about them. How did you meet them? What do they do? What are their hobbies? And it was just really fun to watch her kind of discover what was already in her. Like, I believe our brilliance is already in us, but sometimes we need someone to kind of bring that out in us. Like just what you kind of did at a mastermind with yourself, right? You had one thing you were doing, you came here, you're like, okay, what can I do? How can I pivot to make this still in alignment with what interests you? And so what if somebody has built, I'm not going to say the wrong audience, but what if they build an audience that is really not going to end up being their target audience? What are some things that they could do?
Well, they can still let them know what they're working on, because the truth is we really don't know people that deeply. So we might think that because their LinkedIn headline says something, they're not interested in this product that we're building, but secretly they can be interested in exactly the same thing that you're building, or they could be, they could be your passion soulmate, your passion project soulmate. Because the truth is that many of us start with this lovely thing called imposter syndrome, fear of not being good enough, not being ready, and all that. And we're not alone. So it is by talking to people, by having the courage of taking the first step and say, this is what I'm working on, right? Or this is what I'm passionate about. And, it could be that the person that is connecting to you, that is an accountant, is also a poet by night, right? You don't know that.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to passion, sometimes I think for me, I think people get that a little bit discombobulated in their mind. They think that passion means that they're going to love everything about what they're doing. I think there's always going to be parts of your business that you don't enjoy. I'm not really excited about paperwork. I'm a people person. I want to meet with people. I want to do that, right? I'm the active person. So the paperwork is kind of a low energy for me. What would you say? How did you kind of find your passion?
This passion that so I have many interests.
You are very dimensional. I will say that you are very, very dimensional. If you don't know Christina, she is absolutely.
I have many interests, but the common denominator is that I always wanted to express all of myself, always. So that's the thing. So there's things, object, subjects, books and things that I like. That was one passion, right? But as I was navigating, the university of life, and I found that necessity that where I had to actually earn something. the first place where I looked, probably because the first place where I looked is how can I make money of what out of the things that I love, right? So I actually found it because I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. So my first business was a very small business, but it was buying vintage items. Mostly was vintage clothes. I was in vintage clothing. So I was in Italy, and just the reason why I got into it is because I used to go to these flea markets, and I was like, oh, I like this stuff from the 70s and 60s, right? Actually, I was 20 something years old. I enjoyed wearing them, and every time I was wearing them, everybody was like, oh, I want that, and I want that. I was like, oh, I want your money. so, so I thought, but it was my first obstacle. 20 something years old in Rome, there was no way back then you could sell these kind of things without a store. So I had to get creative. I started buying them, and I used to do what they do, the open houses for art and paintings, right? So I used to do open houses for racks of clothing with among my the people that were at university with me within my campus. So that was the first thing, and then later on, not many years after that, this thing called eBay started, right? And I thought, oh, if I could sell some of these things online, it would be great. So I started selling a couple of those things online, and it began taking off, and that's where I found this passion, because I realized that I had to tell people what I was doing, tell people what the store was about, tell people, actually probably I should tell people why I started the store, right? And I could probably back then I needed to teach myself a few HTML tags because we didn't have all this advanced technology. And I remember my first camera when I started my first e-commerce store was this big.
Wow.
So it was not a phone, right?
Right.
So that was my first thing, but it wasn't an important, as important. Then when I started my book business, actually I started as a physical store, and it failed because I rented the store with the least foot traffic possible, because that was all I could afford. But it felt pretty quickly, meaning 3 weeks in, and I wasn't bringing the money I needed, right? So it really didn't fail, because what I did is I closed the shop with myself inside, and I went online. So it was do or die, and that's what I started doing there. All this took me to personal branding, took me to sharing what I was doing, talking to people. I first began talking to people because I actually, in the case of selling secondhand goods, I needed to find cheap supply. So I was doing that online. I was talking to people online, and a lot of times I would get things to sell for free. So that's how I started. And then after reverse engineering my career, actually building a career out of all the skills that I taught myself, and I blame myself for this, forgetting all about my dreams, because I started working for others, right? I just this thing, I had to do it. So I began on LinkedIn, mostly sharing some of the things that I loved. And before I knew it, I decided that what I really want to do is to find a way that nobody else would feel the way I felt. Like I felt like I gave up on my dreams. So I just wanted to make people ideas possible, a reality. And as I was building mine and monetizing mine in a way that I knew it was viable, I was sharing it with others.
Yes. And I believe monetizing your dream is possible. No matter what your dream is, you may not see it there. That's why you need someone like Christina who can actually show you ways to monetize this. And I think this is a great comment by our Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers. She doesn't tell me to call her that. That's just my adornment to her, right? My endearment to her. But she says, becoming an expert when you're giving it for free. And sometimes people really shy away from that. They feel like if they share their knowledge for free, then people are just going to always want free. But I think that you have to be willing in the beginning, especially, and I would even say even all throughout your career, you have to be willing to get out there. People have to know who you are. I can tell you the last 10 clients that I've been with this past couple of weeks, if I didn't know them already, they have looked at my social media presence. I mean, it's just what they do. They might see you on Facebook, but they're going to look somewhere else to see, are you congruent? Is there somewhere else? Are you on LinkedIn? I think if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, and you don't have a LinkedIn presence, you are shooting yourself in the foot. But that's my humble opinion. I want to ask you now, let's talk about this social media. Because back in my day, if you wanted to be able to reach people, a mass audience that you didn't know, we had to buy a radio spot, a TV ad, a newspaper ad, those kinds of things. Now we have this incredible social media. So where should somebody start if they are wanting to bring an audience with them? They've got an audience, but they want to bring them through the process. What are some things and some tools that they can get that would be those really low cost or those free ideas that I know you have?
So social media tools that you can use, you're talking about within a specific platform, or what is this?
Well, where would they start? First, where would they start if they, let's say they built some audience and now they want to start to bring their audience along with them, right? This is what I have. And so where could they start? And are there some tools that they can use to get them started to really start to begin to monetize their business?
Yeah, so there are tools right here within LinkedIn that are free that you can use. So to bring that audience on a journey, right? So far you have this audience that, let's assume it is aligned with some of the things that you're building, and now you're ready to bring them with you on this journey where you actually show them what you're working on and potentially converting them into clients, right? So first thing, you have to make it crystal clear what it is that you do, or what it is that you are setting yourself to do, right? So let's take the case of LinkedIn, but then with some differences, it is applicable to other platforms. First thing you should do is look at your headline and make sure that it is keyword rich, right? So make sure that it has in it the keywords that you would use if you were looking for yourself into this line of business. So yes, you can say who you help, who you guide. Now people are shying away from the word help, but make sure that it is there. That you do. First, in my case, that I do business coaching, that I do business strategy. So make sure that those keywords are there, right? In your case, you have those keywords on your headline, but those keywords are so precious. You cannot just have them living in there, right? So now it comes to another LinkedIn tool, which is your about section. The about section is not really about you. A little bit, you can tell a little bit of your history, right? But for the most part, you have to use the same words that you use on your headline strategically to tell a story about who's going to need your support, right? So it should be a very subtle problem solving text, bit of narrative. Also, because the amazing thing about LinkedIn is that all this text that we're putting in our about page there pops up somewhere. And if it doesn't, if you look at your name and you have a nice LinkedIn presence, you'll see all your posts on your about page, your LinkedIn page, and all that. But the trick is that to appearing in those searches, even when people are not looking specifically for your name, right? So those things in your headline, you have to make sure those words that you're using them in the body of your about, and also in as many pieces of content as possible. Maybe in hashtag format, that you don't have to overload your content with hashtags, but make sure that you're consistent with the hashtags that you do use, that they match, at least some of them, that they match what you have in your headline, what you have in your about page. And also, I started doing this recently because, I'm always studying, I'm always learning. And you really should look at your profile on the specific platform and how many people are following you on that specific platform, and really mine for those words, those keywords that are not just trending. Entrepreneurship is trending, right? But how many people are using the word entrepreneurship? So those that actually are going to make you competitive. So maybe you can use, they call them long tag hashtags, that 2 words, entrepreneurship for beginners. Or maybe you can say, um, starting an online business with $0, right? It's a long hashtag, but that the person that is looking for those words is looking specifically for those words. So it might not be trending, right? But you might find the one person that is there, ready to go. So that's why using these competitive keywords is very important. And look at that. You put them in your posts, you put them in your headline, you put them in your about page, you put them in another thing, articles or newsletters, which I'll touch on briefly. Or when you do a video or you post an image, you can tag those things, right? So there you go. Right there, that's free. That's free. That's a free landing page for you.
Wow.
You didn't have to buy the website. You didn't have to buy the fancy logo, do the hosting and all that. Maybe the premium membership would be beneficial, and we can talk about that and some things that people can do to get some of those things free for as well. But right there, you didn't have to do any of that. So now you are treating your LinkedIn page as something where people are going to land when they're possibly looking for you, or they're possibly looking for something that you're talking about. They say that when it comes to website, the about page needs to be the first thing that people find. They find it before the home page. So there you go. We should learn from that. That's been said for many years now. We should learn from that and know that this landing page that we are building here on LinkedIn could really be about the problem that you solve, right? The solutions that you offer. It's about your potential clients, about the audience that you're building. And then there is so many other things on LinkedIn, all free, right? There is spaces for publications. Some people don't like groups, but when cultivated right, it still works. And I'll tell you another thing about groups. I've seen so many posts lately about that the groups are the biggest waste of time on LinkedIn, but I'll tell you why some people are saying that in a moment. So there's the groups. There are all the way the place where you can list all your publications. And when you say publications, it doesn't mean that you have to have a book published. Your articles can become your publications, and you can list them there, and Google crawls them. Your newsletter, if you do one regularly, and that's free on LinkedIn, right? It can become a publication. So now when people look for you, you're associated with a newsletter, with a name, and with an article, with a name, and all those hashtags that you keep recycling. So all that is going to give you visibility.
Yeah.
And then, I'll take a breath and then I'll continue.
Yeah, let's take a breath here, because I need to start a LinkedIn, or I know I need to do a LinkedIn newsletter. That's the thing that I am definitely missing. But I love what you're saying, because it is the strategy. And I can't take credit for a lot of my branding and all this stuff. This is my brilliant Hello LLC and a lot of other people who poured into me. And that's why I think it's so critical that we do build a community. Maybe your community you have built now, maybe they're not your target market, but they probably pour into you. If you announced your idea, they would refer you to other people who need and want your services.
Exactly.
You've already developed that rapport with them. You've had coffee chats. You attended their events. You like and share their articles and their brilliance. So I think that I think that we realize or really even undervalue what that audience has done. And I really believe this. This is why when I see people who start with a logo, a website. They start with all these fancy things before they've ever done anything. I feel like they've wasted a ton of money. I believe the more you speak your mind, the more you're going to grow your mind. So as you're getting to know people, you're going to start to fortify yourself and fortify really your passion. Maybe you think it's the books, but then you didn't realize it was actually the photos that went along with the books or something. So out of that is where really, we're forged through fire, right? And it really is true. And people resist that, going through that learning curve, but it just has to happen. It just has to happen. What else can you tell us about LinkedIn? You touched on LinkedIn Premium. Let's talk about that, because we're talking a lot about LinkedIn. Listen, if you're on Facebook, we love you, Facebook people. We love you, our YouTube people. But I would really encourage you to also add LinkedIn into your social media, because there's so much gold in there. Not just meeting your ideal client, but it's meeting an incredible, supportive, wonderful, generous audience and community. So what can you tell us about LinkedIn Premium?
Yes, so LinkedIn Premium costs money, right? And a lot of people shy away from it because you have to pay for it. But depending on where you are, you might be able to get it for free. So, for example, we discovered that in California, you can do that. How do you do that, right? So let's share this with everybody. We're not taking away anything from LinkedIn, because LinkedIn offered this to us. If you have a California library card, what it is, you go, you find, actually, if you use the app Perplexity, which I'll talk about it in a moment, and you are from California, and you say how to get a free LinkedIn Learning membership with my California library card, outline the steps. You'll have all the instructions there. And basically, if you have a California library card, you can, using those steps, get your LinkedIn Learning subscription for free. And that includes premium.
Wow.
So, I share this with all my students. All of a sudden, you subscribe, you have your LinkedIn Premium badge there. And I want to say most of the tools are there that you need in terms of LinkedIn Premium, the search filters, and all the great stuff that you need. And so LinkedIn Premium, some people say, I don't need it. Some people say I need it. Also, we found out that in the state of New York, that's true too, when we were researching it for a friend here. So, so if you have LinkedIn Premium, the biggest advantage, if you're building an audience, really is the search filters, what's visible to you. So, for example, if you attended this event with LinkedIn Premium, you'll be able to click on all the attendees and get the full list, right? And now you can connect with all of them. If there are events that you're interested in and they are in your alignment line, your industry, and we talk about, but you cannot attend them all, and you still attend them and then maybe watch them on replay. Now you get the list of people. A list of people is filtered by topic because they attended that event. They said, I'm interested in this, whether they went or not, right? So with LinkedIn Premium, now you can go in there after you say attend, and you have access to that list. Groups. With LinkedIn Premium, when you join a group, you can look at all the people that are part of that group, right? And some of them have millions, some of them have 200,000 people, a lot of things. So I want to say something about groups and LinkedIn Premium, because, there are huge, big influencers here on LinkedIn that are making big statements saying that groups are the biggest waste of time. I understand why they're saying it's because now you're posting your stuff only to a select group, right? So if the group is really tiny, you got to grow and cultivate the group. So your post becomes kind of invisible there, right? If the group is huge though, and it is targeted and it is active, that's the most important thing. It is active, then you're just talking to those people, right? But of course you're limiting yourself. It's not exposed to everybody. It's just like the targeted keyword. You're limiting yourself by you're going in. But the other thing is that if you join if you can use those groups to filter. So in my case, I could use those groups, to look for people that want to start an online business, right? Or in your case, you can use the group for people that are, I need help with their finances, right? And so you can join those groups and you can see, you have access to all the people that are there. So you can see the people that joined recently, people that are commenting recently, and you can make a connection with that. Reason why some of the biggest influencers are saying, oh, groups, forget about them, is because they started as something, and they became the biggest free filtering tool that we have at our disposal without using LinkedIn Navigator. So yes, we pay for premium, but if we learn how to do the filtering properly, now, we don't do it automatically. We don't use Navigator to do it on autopilot for us, but we are targeting. So you can get your own leads, basically. You can mine for your own leads without having to pay somebody for lead generation and this and that. Sure, you pay somebody for lead generation and this and that. Somebody say, here's 100 leads. These people are good. Their hot leads are good for you, but you never talk to them. So just the list that you get, and you're going to have to do the cold calling, and maybe that the conversation with somebody else, or they found out about you from, an email, and they have completely different impression about what it is that you're doing, and they may feel annoying now by you contacting and being not what they expected. Instead, if you do it by yourself, maybe you don't have these 100 numbers to call. You got 10 at a time, but they're like focused. They're specific. So chances are that out of those 10 people that you mind that contacted yourself, they're not just hot leads, they're really leads on fire. They're right there, ready, because you were able to. Who knows your brand better than you, right? Who knows your business better than you?
Yeah, that's so good. And I want to ask you to address this concern right here, because this is a question that goes over my head. I know nothing about this, but LinkedIn is a great place to start, and making sure that your headline is in line with LinkedIn SEO. Can you address that? Tell us a little, for us mere mortals who don't know what this LinkedIn SEO is. What does that mean?
It's the SEO is simply having the right keywords on your headline. That's what it is. That's what we're talking about. So making sure that it does say what it is that you're doing and what you're doing it for, and using these keywords strategically, as I was describing in your about and in your post. So you have to keep repeating those words over and over again, whether it's in your hashtags, in the body of your post, in the body of your articles, in the body of your newsletter, in the title of your articles, especially on the top parts, because whenever, for mere mortals, I had to teach this. I actually learned this by doing eBay. Isn't that crazy? So websites have things that are called meta tags, right? And there's a big line of text and code, and they have the main tags. They're called meta tags that apply to every site, or that apply to every post, right? And places like LinkedIn, places like marketplaces like eBay, places like Facebook, they have a mini version of that for every piece of content. That's why it is so important that whatever it says on top, it kind of says in the middle, and it kind of says it in one hashtag at least. And it's even better that then it kind of also says it on your headline, and it kind of also says it on your about page, on your publication. So the more you're consistent that way, the more people will find you. It doesn't have to be 2 million people finding you, right? It's the right people finding you. The other thing is, we cannot compete with people that have 200,000 followers, 20,000 followers, 30,000 followers. There is no competing there, right? And also, it doesn't mean that 30,000 followers means 30,000 customers either. So you can be really small, you can start out, but if you do this right, if you connect with the right people and have the right conversations and help the right people, you build that trust, right? That you can have 1,000 followers and you're in business. because they are the right 1,000 followers. So you have to do all that to get to the right audience. About the LinkedIn newsletter, so I'm torn, and I'm probably going to bring. I'm not going to bring my LinkedIn newsletter to Substack, but I will do a Substack newsletter, right? Which is a newsletter platform where you can get paid some. So one thing that the LinkedIn newsletter do is that every time you publish an article, they're emailing people. They're emailing people that are subscribed. So within 10 seconds of my newsletter being out, 600, 700 people have been emailed. And then as the people are engaging, they email more people. And if people have the bell, clicked on your profile, they get immediately that your newsletter is out. And the newsletter is also priceless because you can put links in it. You can put links to other pages of yours, to your books if you have a book, to your events if you have an event, to your paid newsletter on Substack if you have that. So that's why I love LinkedIn newsletters, because, it's an opportunity. Not only you're writing your thing and you're doing your hashtagging things and anything else, but it's also, it gets announced really strongly, right? And it stays there longer than a post. So it gets way more impressions than a post. You might not get all the engagements because we know that people are reading, but they're not necessarily engaging. But you'll see that it's getting shown in different places, and it stays longer, especially if your content is what we call evergreen, right? It doesn't expire. It's applicable. With whatever you're saying makes sense today. It makes sense 6 months from now. Then it's relevant content, and it keeps keeps being shown.
A lot of golden nuggets that you shared. This is brilliant. We can have a whole show about Substack because I don't know anything about it. But what I'd love you to do, because you're so brilliant at this, Christina, is and Nick is also. That's why I want to highlight her comment. But also, part of this is in the comments. You are incredible at the comments. Could you kind of address that? And I know Nick is really great with the comments also. Just kind of help people understand the power of the comments and what you should be doing in the comments as we kind of wind down here.
Yes. So first of all, do not spam the comments, right? If you have time and you want to comment 20 times a day, great. Sometimes I don't have time for that. But I make sure that I either comment to support a smaller account or somebody else, or I comment if it's related to my line of business, not trying to take the limelight spotlight out of them, right? But actually adding value. So what you want to do is add value. And as much as possible, you want to comment in your true voice. And I know it's tempting to have your eye right there and get ideas on how I can comment strategically, right? But it's better to do it in your own voice. And also, if somebody's liking your comment or even your post, then bring it to the DM. So that's what you do with the comment. You see somebody's comment, you like it, or you do your own commenting, right? And then you bring it to the DM. So what I do, I actually mine the comments for ideas that what people want to learn from me. There might not be comments on my post. There might be comments on somebody that has a huge audience, right? But they give me ideas for my next post. And then if I saw that somebody was interested there and I'm connected, then I'll point them out to my new article and post. And if I'm not connected, I'll send a connection request. And then when they connect, I'll thank them for connecting, and will tell them, you might be interested in my latest article.
It's being very intentional. It really is warming up a conversation, not just liking and go. Anybody can push a little like thing and then, they think, well, I liked 20 posts today, but it's engaging with the speaker, the curator of that content, and adding oh, by the way, I see that you do that a lot, or I would like to add. So giving the curator of the content credit, giving them their flowers, and then maybe adding something. But it takes time, and you've got to be willing to share, right? It's not just creating an AI where it generates these automatic messages. Ms. Rosie has a couple of questions, so I'd love for you to address this. One is the LinkedIn SEO algorithm discriminating in any way?
Yes, and no. So the LinkedIn algorithm, as you know, always changes, right? And it changes to serve their own marketing campaigns and their own purposes and what they're working on. So the best thing to deal with the LinkedIn algorithm is to be aligned with whatever LinkedIn is working on right now. So LinkedIn is showing, so it's moving quietly into pay to play, right? It means they need to make some money too. And so they now have boost your ad, boost your post, right? And so if somebody is spending some money on those ads, those things are going to be shown first. But it doesn't mean that your content is not shown, right? And also, they are giving room to smaller creators and other creators that are doing things organically. The only thing is that you have to follow their lead. So they don't go for recency anymore. Oh, I posted at 8 a.m. I posted when things are hot and posted when people are watching. They're going for relevancy. So if you're right now, if your content teaches something, if your content is instructional, if your content adds value, and if your content builds community, they're showing that organic content. If your content is not something about, I'm starting my event in 1 hour, right? It would be nice if they showed it because your event is in an hour, but that's a wasted post pretty much, or, just for your close niche network. So, for example, if we're doing events, right, we want to advertise them way ahead of time as much as possible, because it gives us more opportunity to invite, and it gives more opportunity for posts about the upcoming event to be seen. That's why you want to do that. So that's why newsletter, might as well do them, because they stay for a long time. Articles, they stay for a long time, especially if they teach something. And anything that has to do with building community, elevating others, all the stuff is being shown. And you wouldn't be on LinkedIn if you're not trying in some ways to elevate somebody else with the services that you do offer, right? Of course, we charge for our services, but the thing about that I love about the LinkedIn community that I'm part of, at least, is that everybody has a goal, everybody has a purpose, everybody's super passionate, and everybody is here to learn. So this is the LinkedIn I know, right? Any other political thing about, the algorithm, this and that, now they're just trying to do this. The LinkedIn I know is the community that I have around me, the community that I keep building. So,
I love that.
Cultivating the community and play the game. Meaning, it's not really playing the game, just follow the lead, right? Right now, that's exactly what they want. They want asking you to build community. They ask you to put stuff that is informational, instructional, and teaches. And what a better opportunity for you to be seen for what you do best.
That's great information. What about, does it matter if the hashtags are uppercase, lowercase? Is that case sensitive at all?
I really never paid attention to it. I don't think so. Usually the ones that I use for the lowercase thing, and it might have changed, because things change all the time. If you have two words, I guess you separate the first letter being uppercase, and the second word letter being uppercase too.
Right.
But I've seen both, and I click on both. Of course, I think I think actually it's exactly how you're written. No, actually, no, I don't think it matters, but double check and test, right? I don't know. I'm not 100% on this. I would say do a couple of different hashtags that are very similar in terms of lowercase and uppercasing, and see when you click on those, if your post is showing up regardless of whether it's uppercase or lowercase. I don't think it matters, but I might be wrong. Just, I would say test and double test.
Okay.
And then one last thing.
Overtime here, so I want to kind of wrap it up really quick. Go ahead. Add the last thing.
Oh, the last thing, I just wanted to share a free tool.
Yes, please
And I
do.
wanted to, yeah. So I know we all use AI, we all use chat, great, right? There is a new one. It's called Perplexity, which I'm really loving. And the thing is, it gets from different AIs. But if you're here on LinkedIn doing business and you are using PayPal, I just noticed that they're giving 1 year of Perplexity for free. And so I signed up for my 1 free year, and it uses all the advanced capabilities of ChatGPT 5 and the other latest AIs, and also has a limited image creation. So I just wanted to say, you don't have to pay this $200 a month, because if you're doing business with PayPal, Perplexity is giving the first year for free.
And I have to say, at that point, you're speaking Martian to me, because I really don't know all of those things. What I know is I have an incredible social media team. Mr. Mike Drops in the house. Hello, LLC. Thank you so much for all of that you and Miss Tara do. Miss Christmas, I call her Miss Christmas. They make me look good. I appreciate you, everything that you do. You pour into me, your mastermind, and of course, this beautiful banner. There was a question somebody asked, and I'm going to share this. And I know we're over time. I apologize. I thank you so much if you're sticking with us. Somebody asked, what can you share what LinkedIn's done for you? And I'm going to try to put this really succinctly. I would say transformation. It has truly helped me to transform not just myself, personal development. People talk about personal development, but then they never speak publicly. They talk about personal development, but they never share their brilliance. They never share their journey. And also the people that I've met. I met Christina through social media, through LinkedIn. I met Mr. Mike Drop. I've met so many incredible people that I don't know that I would have met. And these are people that I consider would be lifelong friends. These are not just like people that we know each other here and there and like their post. I consider Christina a dear and trusted friend, like literally, and we've never met in person. And at the same time, it's really that social proof that people are looking for. They want to know more about you. If you're selling them a pet rock, remember those pet rocks? It's a golden nugget. But if you're selling them a pet rock, or you're selling them a retirement plan, people want to know who you are behind what you do. They really do. People really do look at my Facebook, but they find me here on LinkedIn. They look at my social media presence because they want to see who you are. I just think that we have so much artificial intelligence, and we could all look really great, but who are you really? And so hopefully that helps. What would you have to share? And then we're going to wind it down because we're like way over, but this is okay. This is good. I love the questions. Thank you so much for the questions, everyone.
So LinkedIn for me, it has been a possibility. It has been a way to reach out to others where my capability of reaching out to others were limited. So this has been really access to an amazing community and amazing people. And of course, it has transformed me. This has been able to, this is a platform that I use to share my message. And I know we didn't talk too much about it, but when we said no website, no logo, it just means just start. Those are not the main things, right? And the reason why I say no website, no logo yet is because you're figuring out what it is that you are and what you're building, right? So you don't want to start as that being your first step. You want to really embody your brand before you pick the perfect logo. And you also might want your audience opinion on what it looks like, right? You might want to do a poll, this or that. So you might want to involve, that audience you built in those kind of decisions, just for fun. So, so that's why I say that. And also website, because, websites are expensive, right, to maintain, or the initial fee for them to get built. So you have to make sure that you have clarity before you just go for the kind of expense. So use this wonderful LinkedIn page for your prototype of everything that you want to be in there, and now it should be at least all the content, right? Use free landing pages and other things. There I can put some in the comments too, just to test and see what it will look like, right? And then when you are really clear and you mean business like Leah means business, then you can invest on something amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And I just can't let a moment go, the opportunity to highlight my incredible team. I have a Biz in a Box, which is like an interactive website. It's more of an experience. So if people want to get to know more about me and what I do, visit my Biz in a Box. It's really, really simple, leahgarcia.io. And that's because of my incredible team. They make me look so good. I appreciate that. So you've made a lot of new friends and fans and some old friends and fans, Christina. I know people are going to want to reach out to you because of all you've shared and all of your wisdom and just for your guidance and your expertise. How can people best reach you?
Reach out for me here on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, I have a website which is very plain and very ugly on purpose, and it's cristinasagato.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. And also put that in the comments. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of the questions. I love the engagement. I love the interaction. And really, if you have that burning desire in your heart, if you have that something that you want to do, your brilliance needs to shine. It was there for a reason. If that divine download was meant for you to share your brilliance, to share what you're doing, just like my incredible friend, Miss Chesda. If you don't know the African auntie, you've got to follow her stuff. I'm telling you, just to listen to her voice, oh my gosh, you have to follow her regardless of where you are in this world. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you so much, and make it a great rest of the Wealthy Wednesday. Remember, this is your year to rise up and thrive. It really is your opportunity. You can go from where you are. Maybe you feel like you have no website, no business, and you have zero income from your business, and you could literally go to hero in just a few months. You really can do that. It's about what? It's about stepping into it. It's about having courage. It's about reaching out to the people, right? Put your ego aside. There are a lot of people who will give you a lot of guidance and free information if you just simply extend your hand. So this is 2025. It's our year to rise up and thrive and build your family destiny, your family dynasty, and make it the best year of your life. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Wealthy Wednesday. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Leah.
Hey there, I'm Leah Garcia. Have you ever wanted a career where you truly make a difference in people's lives? I'm building a team of driven financial and insurance professionals, people who want to help families and businesses protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth with confidence. If you're passionate about guiding others to achieve financial security, then you're exactly who I'm looking for. Join my supportive, growth-oriented environment and unlock your full potential. Ready to take the next step? Visit leahgarcia.io and let's start building your future together.